Soul Garden.
Why can't you find love? How long have you really been single? Really? Having trouble finding that special soulmate? I can solve this one. Secrets of Birthdays, now live for purchase. Your love trouble? Over. All that and more at secretsofbirthdays.com.
Namaste! Welcome to Soulmart.me Guided Hangouts. I'm GA number 1, and we've got GA number 9 here today. We are your hosts of the show, and today we would like to introduce the most wonderful astrologer on the planet, Christopher Witecki.
Aw, thank you guys. I'm finally happy to be back on the air. Welcome to my new Guided Hangouts. It's called Practical Wizardry. And if you don't know, my name is Christopher Witecki. I'm an astrologer, I'm a psychic, and I call myself a wizard. And we're going to talk about what wizardry is and what practical wizardry is. This is something my heart's been wanting to do for a long time now to share with the community. Part of it was that I think it took about 7 years to get the community all on the same page, and that's all of us figuring out who we are. But now it's really time to buckle down and work on our magic. And, you know, magic is very much something that is in the air. It's something that is on earth. It's something that's very real. And the reason why I call this practical wizardry is because I want to show you the practical applications of using your magic, the practical applications of putting out spells. And people do put out spells all the time. What is magic? Today we're going to talk about a lot of things on my first show, and we're going to interact with people, and we're going to do some fun wizard stuff together. First thing I want to talk about what magic is. We're going to talk about what magic is, and then we're going to talk about our wonder wizards later on in the show, what a wonder wizard is. And then I'm going to talk about a zodiac weather special, which is Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter's getting emotional, and part of being a good wizard is working with the universe. So we're going to talk about working with that. And we're going to talk about reading other souls. That's another wizard's tip you need to be able to do, is read the souls around you, because it's a reflection of your magic in the now. And I'm going to give you a couple of wizard tricks before we leave today. So that's our show. But first I want to say hi to Marcella, or whatever, GA1.
I'm GA1.
Is that what you are now?
Yeah, I'm GA1.
You're GA1. Thanks. That's part of our magic.
Yeah, I look like that Marcella girl a lot, though. I get that.
Yeah, you must be her twin.
Exactly.
That's so funny. Well, magic, you know, the topic of magic, you know, it seems kind of hokey. In fact, when I first started as a light worker, I kind of thought of the term magic as hokey, even though I grew up in a wizard's kind of environment, in a very magical environment, really. Being told growing up that magic is totally possible, and seeing it with my own eyes. Magic is really just the practical application of our spirit in motion. Life is magic, and by birthright, we are all magical. You really can't stop being magical. The problem is people are unaware of their magic. They're unaware of their magic in action. And so this show is going to start to talk about magic in action and how it works. But you cannot not be magical. It's just a matter of how dull your magic is, you know, and how bright it is, and how effective it is, and how cool you can do with it. Magic is really based on a very simple principle in society, or in reality, called the law of attraction. Everything, we've heard about this in The Secret. The Secret gave away some of the secrets, not all the secrets, but the law of attraction is a basic principle, and it's a principle based on why we're on Earth, why we're alive. It's so that we can see our spirit in the physical. Reality is a reflection of who we are. Everything in Earth is a reflection of within. That's the law of attraction. Everything outside is a reflection within. Therefore, we can apply the principle of magic, which is the law of light casting, LOL, laughing out loud. And it is, and that principle is what we be is what comes to us. So law of attraction is everything's always going to attract and mirror who you are. Law of light casting is to change reality. We change what we are. We change what we be, and we see the world update automatically. So, you know, being a practical wizard, being, you know, having practical magic, really comes down to being omni-aware of who you are. The more aware of who you are, the more aware of your uniqueness, the more you allow your uniqueness to shine and spread itself out there in the world, the more you'll be an enlightened wizard. Now, there's really two types of wizards out there. There is the unenlightened and there is the enlightened, okay? The unenlightened are what I call the dark wizards. And these are people who are aware of magic, and they're using it for ego purposes. They're using it to control others. They're using their magic for anything but enlightening the soul. So you have your white wizards and you have your dark wizards, and you know, and they really do exist on Earth. We're gonna look at some now. Basically, first of all, what's a wizard? Well, I think a wizard is a human that mindfully manifests miracles. When you're mindfully manifesting miracles, you're powerful, you're a wizard. And, I use the word wizard because it's more childlike and fun. But these are powerful and influential people, remarkable spirits doing remarkable things. Those are what I call wizards. And so in the effort of Wizardry, I'm going to be helping people on a practical level, stepping into their hearts week after week in this guided hangout and stepping into your magic. But for those people who really want to get serious and want to work one-on-one with me, there will be a class starting in August in 2013, excuse me, my phone was going off there. And I call it basically Practical Wizardry. It's going to be a class for 7 weeks. I take a group of students and really help them one-on-one work on manifesting their intentions. And we've done this for a few summers under different titles, and people always manifest what they want. So that's probably what we're going to do. So this whole entire thing, this series and the class, is going to teach you about wizard tricks, the secret tips of the trade of being a wizard, some of the secrets that I pulled off. I'm going to share with you some of the miracles I've done. I'm going to teach you some of the ancient secrets of the universe as well, because there's a lot of secrets out there not being talked about. I'm going to teach you how to light cast, which is how to cast spells and how to protect yourself. And if you don't believe in spells, I'll just say right now, you're under my spell right now. In fact, showing up, watching, listening to what I have to say, you're under my spell. And you're under my spell because it's a concentrated effort to get you to come and listen, and it worked. And you could say, well, I'm under my own free will. Yes, you are under your own free will. Magic is about inspiring people to join your will. And that's when things start to happen, because magic really takes plurality, right? We've seen people try to put us under the false spell. One of my favorite false spells was when Tom Cruise was jumping up and down on Oprah Winfrey's couch. He was trying to convince us he was in love with Katie. It was like, that was the worst part he ever played. That spell didn't work at all for me, and I don't think it worked on y'all either. We're also going to learn about what dark magic is. There's a lot of myths out there about what dark magic is, and if you watch this show every week or you take my class, you're never going to be under the influence of dark magic. I'm going to teach you how to read souls. I'm going to teach you some cool wizards tools. There's some cool tools, some that I've invented. We're going to get sharp on our telepathy, because telepathy is very important. You want to read the minds of your subjects before they speak or tell you anything. We're going to do a light casting contest for those who are wizard enough to try to compete in their magic skills. And we're going to do some astrohistory, some zodiac weather, and we want to talk about some famous wizards. And let's before we go to our first interaction with audience, let's talk about famous wizards, naming some famous wizards, so we can start to study great wizards out there and how they do it. The truth is that everyone is naturally magical, and some people have gone super far with their magic and done great things, and some people use their magic every day for bad things or negative things, and they don't even know it. They misuse their magic. It's like the guy that always gets away with cheating, he's misusing his magic. The girl that goes out and every time she finds a boyfriend, she always ends up with the cheater, that's her misfiring her magic. We misfire all the time. If you're the person who's always ignored in the restaurant, or you're the person who's always missing the bus, that's a misfire of your magic. And if you're, when drug addicts are down and out and they somehow find like cocaine at 4 in, that's misusing their magic. You can misuse your magic as much as you can correctly use your magic, but it's good to look at some of the positive magicians out there. Probably my favorite magician of all time is still Walt Disney. I think Walt Disney's one of the most magical, amazing wizards ever made. And you might say, well, Walt Disney had a lot of help. That's kind of how it works, folks. Magic is that people fall under your spell. Your spell is that you are inspiring them. They're inspired and they show up. So he had a team of Imagineers. He invented robots. He invented all sorts of things with this team of amazing people. And that's how God does magic, is through the eyes and ears of others. So Walt Disney's one of my favorite. Another favorite wizard of mine is Carol Burnett. Carol Burnett was an amazing wizardess. I don't even know what you call a female wizard. I think female wizards have to name themselves out of respect. But Carol Burnett is my favorite, one of my favorite female wizards. Steve Jobs, who's no longer with us, creator of Apple, is an amazing wizard who obviously did things that I'm still playing with right now, and he's dead. Another cool wizard, J.K. Rowling. J.K. Rowling is a wizard who invented the whole concept of wizards for kids, and that's a whole world that is alive on its own, and it's growing on its own, and there's theme park attractions. And see, when you do a spell, it grows without you. It grows while you're not even awake. Another wizard was J.R. Tolkien. the writer of The Hobbit, who kind of like put and romanticized magic for us in a way that we understood. Another wizard I love was Abraham Lincoln. You try pulling off a spell to end slavery. Now that's a tough motherfucking spell. I would not want to be in the room with that cauldron right there, man. Oh, that was tough. But another female, Cleopatra. Look at the magic of Cleopatra. Look what we're still talking about her. And people are like, oh, she was good in bed. No, honey, that's a wizard. It takes a lot more than being good in bed to be talked about 2,000 years later. So those are some of my favorite wizards. And in this little, in this week by week show, we're gonna talk about magic and how people do magic and stepping into your magic and the art of magic. And I want everyone to know that you're welcome to come down. We're gonna have a system where you can book to be on the show. You can book to be in the studio audience, because when you're in our studio audience, we're gonna have fun and talk about things. So we'll have more about that in a little bit. We must be close to time, huh, GA1?
Yes, we are. I was just about to gong.
Hi, everybody.
Thank you, Christopher. It's fascinating. I'm so excited for this class. If you'd like to be part of the studio audience, you guys can come to soulgarden.me, and on the homepage, there's a link, and you can come in and join us. Although we are pretty full, but you can go ahead and try to join us. If you guys have any questions, if you just raise your peace symbol, and Christopher can answer any questions. Are there any questions?
Well, I want to actually ask a question to the audience.
Okay.
And I just want to get a feel for this and expand on it. And I want to know who people's favorite wizards are and why in life. Who has a wizard? All right, I'll totally take Kristen.
George Lucas.
Oh my God, I love George Lucas. I almost put it up there.
I couldn't believe you didn't say it.
Oh, I don't know. It was just too obvious.
Well,
I was trying to throw some women in there.
Yoda is my hero, and before I found formal spirituality, Yoda and John Lennon. That's where I got all my learning.
John Lennon is an amazing wizard.
Yes, still.
Yes, still doing magic. The spells, and Paul McCartney was definitely co-wizardry on that one.
Well, still.
Yeah, and why do you love Lucas?
Lucas, well, because he created a world that taught us truly to choose love over fear. If you look at how Anakin actually turned to the dark side, he chose fear. Bottom line.
Yeah, it's true. And I'm, just as a fun little tidbit, looking at wizards and how they progress. So Lucas sold his whole empire to Disney. I don't know if you know that.
You put that out. Yes, I read that.
I know, which shocked me at first. A wizard handing down, the wizard's cap. But his whole thing was it's time for young, creative people. But it makes me whole think about the story. So now I'm wondering, Disney's going to make the last 3 movies. That's what they announced too. And I'm just kind of curious, are they bringing back the original cast who is going to be aging? Like they could. Like Carrie Fisher could be old, like Yoda chick now. I'm just thinking about it.
They're going to be young and hot. They're going to be young and breathtaking.
Okay. Well, who else has that was a great wizard example. Anyway, I want to hear from other people. Dawn, who just can't stop smiling like a Japanese tourist, I think. Anyone? Come on. Hello. Interact with me, folks. You actually work on Soul Garden. All right, that's it. GA9.
Okay, what about Oprah?
Oh, she's an amazing wizard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oprah, it's funny. Aquarius wizards, I don't even know if they know they're doing it. They just are who they are.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, they just kind of auto-crystallize. Just like Ellen DeGeneres, another, Aquarian wizard. She just is who she is. I don't know how much of that was planned to start a whole sexual revolution on television. But why do you like Oprah?
I just like the fact that she uses her power to bring people together and to make this world a better place.
Yeah.
That's what I like about her.
She's definitely a powerful. I'll tell you this, for people, you're not getting off the planet as far as I understand if you use the powers for negativity. You're just by the nature of the way the power works. You literally have to. It's almost like, and we talk about this in Practical Wizardry, the class. But I do what we call Ascended Masters in Training, AMIT, and the whole point is like one day we're going to leave Earth, and I believe that when you leave Earth, in other words, you stop coming down the cycles and going through all the pain and all that stuff, you have to manifest something greater than yourself to get off. It's almost like you literally create the energy that carries you off. So people who are dark literally create the energy that sucks them under, in my opinion. So I love Oprah. I'm waiting to see what she does next, because Aquariuses are redefining their magic now and what they're going to use it for. So, now that she's got everything, what's she going to buy? A nation, maybe? Madagascar? Oprah Winfrey car. Who else? Who else has wizards? Come on, you have to interact or you can't. Oh my God, I love it, my own staff. Carolyn Mayberry, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Blue on blue, I love it.
Yeah. Okay, so I have my favorite wizard who kind of looks like a wizard, and he's a
Chris
Leo.
One Feather. Oh.
Dr. Ron Paul.
Oh my God. He's like a gnome.
Yeah, or a wizard.
He's a magical gnome. No, he could be wizard. He's amazing.
He is, and
he's amazing.
He didn't say this quote. It was Victor Hugo, I think it was, but he uses it a lot. It's an idea whose time has come cannot be stopped by any army or any government. And he's really, like, being a part of the Liberty Movement myself, like, my whole entire life has changed positively. Like, I want to fight for peace. And this man, he's a total wizard. He's magical. He seriously is. And he's very wise, too. He's 79 years old.
Christ!
He's still kicking. He's a Leo. And
I was going to say, he's a Leo.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of Taurus in him, though, too. So
he must.
I've looked at his chart. He's amazing.
We'll have to
That's
study.
my favorite wizard.
I love him. I think he's an amazing wizard. And, God, I didn't realize he was that old.
He really is that old.
On Earth.
When he was running for president, he had turned 76.
Wow. He's sharp, too.
He's extremely sharp.
I would say that, let's look at Ron Paul, too. Like, he's actually a wizard that hasn't quite been able to achieve his potential for some reason.
Because of the media. His message is...
We can never blame anything outside our magic.
Well,
we can never blame anything outside our magic. I'm just saying, not to get hard on you in the first...
Well, no, I agree, but his magic is evident to me and hundreds and thousands of other people.
Yes.
Like, I was the president of the Youth for Ron Paul chapter. You wouldn't even have any idea that there was any sort of movement going on for this man whatsoever if you watch the news. And it's
Of course.
It's
but
really
every wizard's
true.
up against the news. If you want to use another wizard, George Lucas, he was snubbed from the Oscars, whatever. He's been outside the system and still winning. I'm not criticizing Ron. I actually want to look at him, and we should look at his report card, and we should see what's holding up his spells, because he's got the power base, which is the following, and that's one of the tricks to being a great wizard. You need the support of people. There's no way you will do it without more and more. We live in a spiritual democracy. The amount of power you have is equal to the amount of people who are on your side. Now, dark wizards get people on their side through fear and guns, But why can't Ron get the
guns? Guns aren't evil.
Well, no. We use guns to force on others into our magic instead of inspiring it.
Or if someone's coming in your house trying to rape you and your kids, then it's to defend your own magic and your livelihood.
Yes.
So it's really,
That's true, but only a young wizard would draw in someone to rape you and your kids. That's a young spell backfiring.
Well, I guess
you should be able to.
True.
I would think that when we're really aware, this is something we can always talk about too, but it's like, I think when we're really aware, we will ward off those types of things. That's the whole point.
Really?
Yes. You have to try it on your own to see, and I'll show people how to do that. And is that blaming victims? Hell no. But if I got in front of a victim, I would tell them exactly how to prevent those things from ever happening again. And I believe it would never happen again if they applied their practical magic on it, which is basically manipulating the fields of consciousness around you. Most people surrendered to the fields around them. Most people don't even pay attention to the conscious fields around them. And so by simply charging the fields with, don't you motherfucking come in this house, 9 out of 10 dentists will agree that a burglar will keep walking. One idiotic psychopath may still come in, but even then, it's been my miracle path that they trip over something and break their leg.
Yeah,
If you got
I
good
could kick
consciousness.
someone's ass without a gun because I'd fight dirty. I'm a Scorpio rising. I go right for the eyes.
Oh yes, he does. And that Scorpio rising is also why you keep a gun. Well, it's okay. We'll after commercial. Marcel, do you get one?
Thank you for all those input for all those magical wizards. But we know a wizard right here. It's Christopher Witecki.
Wizard and trading. Yay!
Yay,
That was good. Yeah, good wizard segue. Good use of magic. I'm serious.
If you guys want to join us, come to soulgarden.me, and on the homepage there's a link. You can come in and join us. We would love to have you as we learn about magic with Christopher Witecki, and we're super excited to have you, Christopher. We'll let you continue on.
Well, thank you. I'm going to do a screen share now and pop off the screen for a second and show you a graphic I've done. Oops, it should roll up here. It's getting a little frozen here, so give it just a second. You guys can still hear me okay, right?
Yes.
So we're going to talk about something going on right now, which is Jupiter in Cancer. And Jupiter in Cancer is basically where wisdom is going at the moment. In fact, I should go off the screen for just a second and talk about just what Jupiter in Cancer is. Now, part of being magical is knowing where the currents of energy are going, because really magic is, once again, deliberately inserting intention in a consciousness. Consciousness isn't everything. It's in this glass. It's in everything around us. Everything around us is aware of everything. This pen knows it's a pen. Everything is self-aware. And so when you are magical, you are literally speaking to the fields around you and calling, through law of attraction, elements, people, everything that are in alignment with your energy. So it's really important to kind of know where the weather is, and that's what we're going to be talking to. This is astro weather, and the astro weather is where is the universe putting surges of energy right now, and that's where astrology really helps you with your magic, because astrology says this is where the surges are. Now, the biggest surge of any energy is Jupiter, which is the focusing agent of our belief structure and what we believe. So as far as consciousness is concerned, when Jupiter is in a sign, we are expanding that part of our soul. And as of recently, in the last 3 weeks, if you haven't noticed, things have gotten very emotional because Jupiter has moved into Cancer for the first time in 12 years. And that's the cycle of Jupiter once every 12 years. That means what we believe is now hitting what we feel. And in essence, wisdom is getting emotional, or we're about to get wise about our emotions. And we have to basically grow up. So we're being told to grow up. But what this means from a wizard's perspective is that we're going to have an incredible amount of energy in the emotional field. And we don't have time to get super deep into the emotional field in this class, hangout or class. But the emotional field is the most important field of all the fields of doing magic. It turns out that passion is what gets the most things done, which is why you can be a simple-minded, passionate idiot and go very far, right? And you can be a cold genius and not go anywhere. And so passion is a very important part of magic. With Jupiter in Cancer, we're officially getting our potential for magic to turn on. Jupiter was in Gemini, so we were expanding our thoughts and ideas. But now that Jupiter's in Cancer, we're not just going to emotionally grow up as a world. Those who have magic will become more powerful, especially those who master their own emotions. So I thought we'd do a little astro history here. And that's why I brought this cool graphic. And astro history is one of my favorite things in astrology, because you can so clearly see when you look at the history of things of how it really plays out. And this graphic shows all the times in this century Jupiter was in Cancer. Now, Jupiter is back in Cancer from July 2013 to July 2014. The time before this was July 2001 to 2002. Now, this was basically 9/11. The 9/11 incident now hit us during that time. It hit the United States. It was a very emotional moment for the whole world. And it was emotional terrorism, if you will. And what did we do? We emotionally grew up. And, it actually hit everyone personally everywhere. Of course, George W. Bush was our president, and he was a Cancer, if you don't know, is a Cancer. And so we had a Cancer president helping us as a Cancer nation when Jupiter was in Cancer. Coincidence? Sure. All right. So then we go to the time before that. It was July 1989 to July 1990. Guess who was president? George Bush Sr.
God.
Oh, that's interesting. All right. And I don't know if you remember 1989 to 1990, but I have some things that happened that were emotional. We found Ollie North guilty of crimes. Remember Ollie North in the old Iran-Contra affair? That happened. Jupiter and Cancer, very emotional issue for the country. Another emotional issue, Seinfeld premieres. Okay? Yeah, very emotional. This is where we're complaining about our emotions. Kind of interesting. Hurricane Hugo hit North Carolina. All right? Remember Hurricane Hugo? Big hurricane. A lot of emotion going on there. George W. Bush gives his first union address to the United States. So we elect George W. Bush during Jupiter and Cancer. Then we elect his stupid son the next Jupiter and Cancer. Coincidence? Okay. Okay. What else happened that year? The Exxon Valdez oil spill. Jupiter and Cancer. Remember that? Very emotional for the world. Mikhail Gorbachev is elected. Wow. Very, very emotional for the world, too. And you know, another Iran-Contra affair, John Poindexter was sentenced to prison. So was 89 an emotional year? I would say it was. Let's just peek at a couple more because it's just so fascinating. So I didn't do research completely on all these, but you know, the time before that was August 1977 to 78, and in essence, this was a very tense time for America. I don't know if you guys remember this time if you're old enough, but we were basically freaking out from Nixon's corruption, and we were all kind of like reorganize the country on the fly because suddenly government wasn't trusted after Nixon. 65 to 66, I didn't research very much because I didn't have time. 54 to 55, you can look at as well and kind of dive into what was going on in the social issues. But what's really interesting, of course, is diving a little deeper. June 1942, Jupiter goes into Cancer. That was also when we went into Europe, into World War II. Remember, we actually got the Pearl Harbor when Jupiter was in Gemini the year before, 1941, December 1941, and then Jupiter goes in Cancer. The Cancer Nation goes to war. Very interesting. 1930, June 1930, when's that? Well, that's 9 months after the stock market crash and the beginning of the Depression. So Jupiter in Cancer, the World Depression, right? And so on and so forth. So you guys get the point. Little astro history, kind of interesting. So I'm curious, you know, whoops, that was interesting, went backwards. As we move into our interaction part, I want to know from you guys, pick one of these dates and share with me an emotional issue you're going through personally, if you can remember from one of these dates. For those of you who are alive enough, I'm going to share with you what I was doing in 1930 when the Depression hit. It was hard on us. It was hard.
I thought you were so serious.
I was dealing with a breakup 12 years ago. That was emotional.
You're going through a breakup?
And now I am again 12 years later. And that's emotional.
Wow. Were they both Cancers?
No, one was a Scorpio and one was a Taurus.
Were they? Okay. Those are opposite signs. So that's kind of interesting. One of the features I was going to share about this is that in karma, this is one of the wizard tricks. And part of the wizard tricking is that you have to understand the nature of reality and the way things come back. Everything is cause and effect. Everything is law of attraction, law of reflection. And so as a result, the truth is that it usually takes 2 cycles of a planet in order to complete a full loop of karma, because a full loop of karma is a figure 8. It's not one circle. Karma is a figure 8. So, and I teach this all in class. So that said, if you look at these dates of how things were affected, well, in July, right now, July 2013, so far Jupiter in Cancer, what's going on? Well, we've got Edward Snowden, who just stole a bunch of United States secrets and making us look real bad all over the world. So as soon as Jupiter went into Cancer, basically Jupiter was at 0 degrees Cancer when Snowden went on his run. And he went to Hong Kong, and Hong Kong's like, screw you, United States, and they sent him to Russia, and Russia's like, And the United States is like, people don't like us? Oh my goodness. So you see that, but you also see emotionally uproars going on in Egypt. There's uproars going on
Syria.
in Syria. Thank you very much. They're rising up in Brazil for student rights protection. They're rising up in Greece again, Great Britain is having a gigantic scandal right now because their hospital system just got found out that it was killing thousands and sweeping it under the rug.
Eugenics.
Yes, what is that?
Eugenics?
No, I'm not familiar with eugenics. Bring it up.
Oh, it's
Something going on right now?
No, it's just a term for when people, like the medical community, like when Hitler was in power and he was doing, like medical tests. That's what it's called. But it's not just like that extreme. It's all sorts of like different medical things trying to tweak humans or kill them.
Right. And ironically, the Germans who were trying to tweak humans were tweakers. They were crystal meth addicts, and that's what happens. Thank you! I can work that one perfectly. So, I'm looking for shares. Go ahead, Go ahead, G1.
I hear that on Soulmart, you're going to be helping us out with that Jupiter and Cancer. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the upcoming Jupiter and Cancer for Soulmart?
I do. Actually, I've created a new video. It's going to be coming out in a couple of days. I wish it was out today, but that's Jupiter and Cancer for you. Wish in one hand. Just kidding. But this video series is going to basically be like the Act 1 and Act 2 videos, and it's taken me a long time to do because I cover for a full year. So it looks at Jupiter and Cancer and what you can expect for the full year of your emotional growth. And of course, this year, 2013-2014, is not going to be like any of these others. For the one hand, what I was about to say before the gong went off was that, the last September 11th, that year with Jupiter's in Cancer, the United States were the victim. So we got victimized. Now in 2013, we are the perpetrator. We are the one that's hurting. And that's how karma works. You go from one side of the coin to the other. So all the dirty pull that we did is going to come out. And so therefore, this Jupiter in Cancer is very different. Part of the videos are going to focus on, covering your sign and covering your rising sign, both in the same video, but also trying to figure out where are you in your cycle? Are you in the part where it's time to face up for where you've been wronged emotionally, or is it time to face up where you've wronged others, or is it time to face up where people have wronged you emotionally? And with Saturn in Scorpio this time with Jupiter in Cancer, we're focusing on emotional boundaries in the background. In 2001, September 11th, Saturn was coming out of Taurus and into Gemini. And so the background of it was our values changing. The background of it was also our changing our thoughts and attitudes about things, which was terrorism. Now we're changing our actual feelings. So come on down to Soulmart.me in a couple of days. I'll let you know if you're on our email list when it's available, and you can get your rising and your rising sign. They cover you for the entire year, which the videos are long as a result, but this is a video you're going to watch over and over again because there's something more that sucks more. There's something that sucks more. Mercury retrograde for one more day, 24 hours.
Everything's tomorrow.
I tried to hold out going on the air. But there's something that sucks more than being emotional and not being able to handle it, and so that's what these videos are helpful for. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, GA1. See? I'm going to call you different names.
We are so grateful for all your videos and your Witecks that help us get through. So if you guys haven't even got your Act 2 videos, be sure to get your Act 2 videos. It's an immediate download at soulmart.me, and you can watch them over and over. So, Christopher, did you have a little bit of interaction you wanted to do with our audience?
Well, who's going to share a story? We have Kristen. Before I bleed my heart, anyone share a Jupiter-Cancer relation? Mike's being pretty quiet over there in the shadow.
If you would like to.
I got a story.
Tell me.
Actually, the day 9/11 happened, I was actually going to go to Nigeria to do boarding school, and I couldn't go because all the airports were shut down. But that whole summer, I was all crying the first day because I was homesick because I wasn't with my mom. I guess that's the Cancer part. But then after that, I had fun, and then I go back the first day of the next term and cry for a day because my mom was, and then just release that. Now, I'm thinking that's like a theme again because I'm trying to move out of my mom's house. Well, run away from my mom's house. Like my mom's house is like a crumbling hell right now, and I must leave for life. So That's interesting. I never noticed it before.
Good comparison. That's great. I'll share mine real quick. Like in 1989, when Jupiter was in Cancer, I was being taken out of Massachusetts, where I was a young TV anchor and freshman in high school on their own TV station. Kind of crazy. And I was thrown into Arkansas. So I felt like I was totally thrown into prison. I was totally taken out of my element. So Jupiter in Cancer, my whole emotional world changed. And I was pissed because I was going from Boston to Arkansas. It was a real tough shift for me. I actually really loved it later. Then in 2001, literally the week of 9/11 was my high school reunion. And I was supposed to fly back and had my reunion in the high school I was now loving and wanting to see. But I could not go to my high school reunion to the place that I was dreading and then now wanted to call home. Isn't that funny? So, and then, without getting too open here, I'll just say that in the last 2 weeks since Jupiter went to Cancer, I've completely replaced everyone in my household, including the pets. So, so there are my stories. Anyone else want to share a comparison? But for those of you watching at home, we'll let GA1 share. For those of you watching at home, this is the whole point of the exercise. Is you'll get these dates in the video if you buy the video, but otherwise take a look at these different times that you were alive. Look at the themes, because it will give you visibility to what you're about to live. We're just starting Jupiter Cancer. It ends in July 2014. So GA1, what's your short story?
Oh, I was if you wanted to comment, I was just showing you what you did, but I can share if there's not anybody else.
There's not, you want to.
Okay, well, 1977 I moved to Texas, and it was horrible. I had to learn a different language, and I've been trying to get out ever since. So there you go. There's my Jupiter in Cancer, 1977.
And what was the different language, Marcella?
The different language was when I went to school, the teacher was like, I know that I have the language.
Okay. I'm just pointing out that I think.
But she was like, your desk is over yonder, and I was like, oh my God, does that mean over there? And then she was like,
oh my God, does that mean over there?
She was like, we're fixing to do some homework, and I was like, he's gonna fix the homework? What is wrong with this person? Oh my God.
My goodness, so, how funny.
It was different, and I did say you guys, and that was inappropriate here in Texas.
So we say y'all.
So what was the comparison of 77? Thanks for bringing up a 77, by the way, to 89 for you then.
So in 89, I was in college, and so I got to break free and start learning a little bit more about life. Then in 77, which was, very uber conservative in Texas.
Yeah.
And Texas had started to open up by 1989, so that's kind of where I went there.
Gotcha. Started to. Yeah, no, actually, it depends on where you were. I mean, there's a lot of, there was a lot of drugs in Texas, too. There's a whole side of Texas that was completely rebelling in the 80s.
Well, they did drugs. They just sounded funny.
Oh, right. Exactly. Well, it's fascinating and it's good. And, as we're looking at polishing our magic and stepping into our power, what you be is what comes. So really the essence of being magical is the essence of being in touch with yourself. When you know the astro weather patterns coming in, the zodiac weather patterns coming in, and from your own astro history that you grow substantially at these cycles, this is where a wise wizard plans. And in some cases, planning means that, we had all these hopes to do a lot of Capricorn development, Jupiter, as if Jupiter was in Capricorn, the opposite of Cancer. But if we have Jupiter in Cancer, a wise wizard is going to go with the energy of where the universe is creating a swell and focus your manifestations through the swell energy. Even if I want to manifest a new business during Jupiter in Cancer, I do it through my home. So being a wise wizard and knowing that zodiac weather patterns is helps you have more effective spells when you get more for the wave of your wand, so to speak. So let's segue.
Well, thank you. That was awesome. You know, we are at the top of the hour.
Oh my
And
goddess, that's great.
I know it went super fast, and I just wanted to say special thanks to everybody. So thank you. We've got Carolyn, we've got Dawn, we've got Iwana. She's my new friend from Austria. We've got GA9. We've got Jessica Lynn, Kristen, Mike Neby, and Christopher Witecki. Thank you for an amazing show. I love you all. Our next show up is Dr. Matt.
Who's doing? Yeah, he's doing channeling. Dr. Matt's doing channeling.
Yes. So
So
please come.
yeah, totally. Go show up. He's going to show you how to go into your own. Channeling is a good part of connecting to your higher source. So thank you everyone for joining me. Be sure to, and if you guys don't know more about astrology, be sure to go back and check out Dawn's show, which is the lead into this show, where she's teaching the basic principles of astrology. This week it was Venus, Mercury, and Mars. All right, I love you guys.
Wait, Christopher.
What? We're gonna promote you?
Do the song.
Oh, I'm not ready for. You mean my practical wizardry song?
Yes.
Oh, I'm working on it. I can't do it. No. You've created great suspense.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you so much.
That's funny.
Live, love,
I
peace.
will.